Hey there, welcome to the DFS build. This is not a DFS video. This is a Dalton Kincaid video. Normally this channel does DFS stuff, but we're going to help you out with season-long fantasy football, dynasty, all that stuff too. One thing that's been making the rounds for a while now is that Dalton Kincaid is a sell, and I'm seeing people fading him and all that stuff. I think depending on what format you're talking about, there's some merit in that as far as is he the best ball option? Perhaps not. And when we're talking about cost, what do we have to pay to get him in Dynasty, and where are we drafting him in redraft? I am definitely on Team Kincaid this year. I do think he has some limitations as far as he's not a super explosive athlete and all that, but everything else looks really good for him. And for me, opportunity is pretty massive, and that is definitely where we should start paying attention to Kincaid. So obviously, if you compare to like Sam Laporta or Trey McBride, or even the aging but still very good Travis Kelsey, he's not quite there yet. He doesn't quite have the ceiling that those guys possess, but I do think he's a top 5 tight end. So right now, he is going off the board as tight end 5, according to Fantasy Pros average draft position data. So I think that's about fair. The only other guy in that range that I would really look at would be Kyle Pitts, just based off of a ceiling. And obviously, with Kirk Cousins coming in, he knows how to funnel targets to his top guys, whether it be Justin Jefferson or TJ Hawkinson. So obviously, he knows how to get the ball to tight ends, and Pitts is a very athletic, explosive player. 12 touchdowns in his last year at Florida, and obviously, he had a 1,000-yard season as a rookie. So he has massive, massive upside. The only question is, new quarterback, health. Is he going to play second fiddle to Drake London? All that. So I don't think Kincaid has quite as many question marks and red flags. I feel like he's got a better floor than Pitts, so I like him a little bit more. But if you want to, go back a little bit further behind Kincaid and take an upside shot on Pitts, I'd have no problem with that either. But we're talking about Kincaid here, so let's not get carried away. One of the first things to me is going to be target share. As a rookie, he had 16% of Buffalo's targets, and that's with Stephon Diggs taking up 29% of the team's passing game targets. That's 6th most in the NFL. That's kind of a big deal. And now he's gone. And not just him. Gabe Davis is also gone. That's 241 total vacated targets from Buffalo's passing game. And Dalton Kincaid's main competition would be obviously incumbent tight end Dawson Knox, who was slowly losing his role to Kincaid anyways. And then you have guys like Khalil Shakir, who's a holdover. You have newcomers MVS and Curtis Samuel. I don't really see the merit in being afraid of any of those dudes. Especially when you look at how Kincaid came on so strong, starting from week 6, going all the way to, Derek Brown, who is just awesome. He details here that he was 8th in target percentage, and you list some other stats here that are pretty interesting from fantasy points data. That stuff is definitely worth checking out. But honestly, I would start looking at week 7 on. It gets even more impressive just because he was hurt in week 6, and he got hurt and only played like half the game the week before that. So from that time frame, weeks 7 to 18, he was 7th in catches at the tight end position and 5th in percentage of team targets at 20%. So that's all pretty good as a rookie. And obviously that's only going to spike with Diggs gone, with Gabe gone, with him, getting more snaps at tight end over Knox. And one of the big things beyond role, which is obvious, he had a role already and he's going to have an increased role, is that he managed to finish as tight end 11 as a rookie. That's not easy to do. I don't think we should overlook that. And we should also not overlook the fact that he did that in about 1.5 games fewer than a lot of other guys. Also worth noting, he had 73 catches as a rookie, which were the 4th most by a rookie tight end ever. He was also number 1 in target accuracy and 8th in true catch rate. We also know that the guy is a really, really good route runner. I'll show you this video here from Hayden Winks, also a really good fantasy analyst. It's just some disgusting stuff with his hesitation, with his just, natural route running. And then we just know he also has soft hands. And his contested catch rate doesn't blow you away. I don't really know if he had enough opportunity to really flex that muscle, but he does have the size and skill set to win in those situations for sure. Here is underrated speed. He does have decent time speed, 4.6840. So we know we know what he's capable of. Athletically, he's a better athlete than advertised for sure. Um, and then he only had 2 touchdowns as a rookie, but again, he wasn't the main guy. He was splitting a little bit of time with Knox. And then you go look at his college production. He had 8 touchdowns in each of his last 2 years in college. So we know he has the size, frame, skill set, and pass production to feel pretty good about what he can do in the red zone. The other thing is, obviously, as a first-round pick last year, the Bills are invested in him. He flashed major potential already. So we know what he can do, and I think he's just scratching the surface. So overall, I think the value is probably about right with Kincaid as tight end 5. I think you're you're obviously not getting like a really good discount or anything, but he's a rock solid play at this point. If we go look at who else is around there, Mark Andrews. I mean, Mark Andrews is also a pretty good value, but if you're not going to get Andrews and you're going to wait a little bit longer and come down and get Kincaid, I think Kincaid is a really good buy. In Dynasty, that's where I like him the most, just because you can't predict what's going to happen year to year. But long term, I think Kincaid is kind of in the Travis Kelce mold, where he's going to be open constantly. When you have a guy like Josh Allen that's just obviously amazing at finding those guys, that's obviously going to be super beneficial for his prospects. All right, so that's going to do it for me for the Dalton Kincaid breakdown. I think where you're getting him right now is a pretty good value, and I think he has a really, really good chance of being a top 5 producer at the tight end position this year. Happy drafting.